Go live. Hello everyone, we're back with another day of Star Trek. Today's going to be an extended stream because we're doing Blood Oath and then a two-parter and then a third episode after that. The Maquis two-parter, which I assume will have some triangle ships in it. I assume, because the triangle ship is mostly used as a Bajoran ship, and the Maquis has a lot of Bajorans. A man can dream. So usually these, oh, I forgot to even put on the timer. That's going to extend it. Usually these sort of 5-minute intros, it's just 5 minutes to get people time to actually get in the stream, because it doesn't show up in most people's subscriptions until it's actually live, yada yada yada. So to fill time, thought we'd just like put on a video.
You people, you're all
Just chill out.
on some kind of start.
Have something to kill time. Fill dead space. We can talk over it. It's just there.
Some sort of magnetic device in his belt.
Some sort of. Oh, there was Siddiq Al-Tahil Al-Fadil Abdurrahman Muhammad Ahmad Abdul Karim Al-Mahdi in his one appearance on TNG. Unfortunately, that was season 1 or season 2 Siddiq. So he wasn't quite how do I say it? He wasn't great yet. Dr. Bashir got a lot better after season 2, and that was still season 1 or 2 Bashir. Yeah, but today's first episode is, he was kind of creepy toward Data. The first episode is Blood Oath, season 2 episode 19, I think?
Some kind of phased pulse technology. Some kind of test.
Yes, 19.
Some kind of a trick. What is this? Some kind of a trick?
Some kind of a trick? Some kind of experiments. Is that a game of some sort?
Some form of ritual suicide.
Some sort of spirits?
Some kind of threat
Nope.
to the Enterprise.
Get off my screen. There we go.
Misunderstanding.
Establish some kind of relations with the Romulans.
Some sort of special attachment to the boy. Some sort of commonality.
A message of some kind.
Some kind of alien information.
Some form of covert communication. Some kind of transmission.
So yesterday, we played the clip of that Star Trek montage set to the Mulan music, and as I expected, it got copyright claimed. The horror. How dare they?
Some kind of mercenary group.
Some kind of
Let's see.
mercenary ship
It's had
Like some kind of ship.
314 views.
of some kind.
Let's find a comparable stream. See how much money Disney really got. Oh, Disney stole 45 cents from me. How dare they? I was going to use those 45 cents to buy a new graphics card.
Tool of some sort. Perhaps some sort of nourishment.
No.
Kind of fungus. Some sort
We knew that was going to happen.
What are you in some kind of a hurry or something?
some kind of filter.
I am on some kind of a
We could just sing over it next time.
Some kind of stasis.
Oh god.
Some sort of
You can sing over it. I'm not singing over that.
visual
You do you though.
some sort of polarity shift.
No, no.
Selective molecular
You don't want to hear me singing.
Plasma shock. Some form of self-preservation. Or some kind of intelligent form.
Some sort
You broke out the Shakespeare yesterday. I'm pretty sure you're a man of many talents.
Could he be some kind of android?
No, see, I can say Shakespeare, but I wouldn't say I can perform Shakespeare. I just happen to know some of it. It's just taking up space in my head. Oh, what was that thing? What was that first line the other guy, was it Mike, that said yesterday?
Some sort of monster.
Don't we have two mics, actually?
You're some kind of creature.
I don't know.
Mannequin of some sort. Some kind of escort.
What was the first
No,
line
that's-
of that?
Throwing us some sort of a bone. Some sort of bribe.
some kind, any kind of defense strategy.
I have no idea anymore. I guess I go back and listen, but
Some sort of.
that's 2 hours, 40 minutes I'd have to scroll through to
Concoction.
find out where he said it.
Some types of endorphins, some kind of emotional pressure.
There's some kind of problem here.
It's pretty much after. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. It was in between shows, or in the last episode, basically. Yeah, this is when we started quoting Shakespeare, and then it was after the end of the third episode.
Okay.
A force field out there of some kind.
Not too much, but yeah,
Maybe he'll come back in this stream and he can just say it again, because,
probably.
yeah, I don't remember it.
Some kind of random power fluctuation.
Alright, hopefully everyone is queued up to Season 2, Episode 19, Blood Oath. Be queued up to 0, and we'll be pressing play in just
Empathic echo.
30 seconds. Make sure I'm looking at the countdown timer here, because again, I have two countdown timers. One's on a delay because it's the stream.
Exerting some sort of influence over her.
He may be under some kind of alien influence.
Some kind of strange bouncing effect.
You're an emergency.
That's such a weird line. Some kind of strange bouncing effect.
Some kind of guerrilla war.
It feels like a TOS thing.
Some sort
Alright, let's pause this, blur the screen, and I'll go back to my queue up. Everyone press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. And if anyone wants to join the Discord, join the voice chat. Oh, I should mute this. There we go. If anyone wants to join the Discord, join the voice chat. There's a link to that in the description. You just click on that, click the watch along voice channel, and you're in. What does Quark mean by sealed himself in exactly? Do people have the ability to lock the doors such that Quark, who owns the holosuites, can't override it? Does he can't like barricade the door, because I mean, for one, they slide, they don't swing. But more importantly, even if they did swing, it's holographic matter.
It's true. It's like he's saying it locks from the inside.
Yeah, I don't get how that works. Not important, though. Wow, shutting down the holodecks actually worked. It never works on the Enterprise. There's always some weird reason you can't shut off the power. Okay, there was a little detail I appreciated there. So this is a TOS character who's come back for another role on Deep Space Nine. When that door opened, it was the TOS door opening sound effect. That was a nice little detail they put in. Is that Core or Koloth? I think it's Core. It's definitely not Kang. Kang's kind of a weird looking Klingon. Which isn't space racist, it's just Kang specifically is weird looking. Okay, so if that's Koloth, the other guy must be Core. I mean, strictly speaking, he's not a man. Also, I bet Odo could take him. What's he gonna do? Swing a blade at a shapeshifter? He's made of goo. What good is that gonna do? Can't punch a shapeshifter. As we established on TNG, they have started, with the force field in the cell here. They're saving money on the CGI effects by just not having a force field. Force fields are just invisible now. You know, I've only seen the Trelane episode of TOS once, but now that you mention it, that guy does look very familiar. Trelane TOS. Google Images.
The Trouble with Tribbles?
No, the episode that Trelane is in. I think it's Squire of Gothos.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, same guy. Yeah, that's one of the few episodes of Star Trek I've only ever seen once. So I don't really know anything about it other than apparently the title for some reason. And the fact that he's basically Q.
Let's get down to business to defeat the Hun.
Klingons.
Did they send me daughters
Apparently
when I asked for sons? You're the saddest bunch I ever met. Sorry, that was last week. I'm still in last week's or yesterday's stream.
alright. So now that we've had some chat, people in the YouTube chat, how does the audio sound between me and Mr. Fiddle here? Are we roughly the same volume? Doesn't have to be perfect, just roughly.
Asian Tafel Deja I. Ich mach so Tacos was Weitig. Thank you. Relatively. Josh Kales Molor mi hoch su pu. Jawak Sarasaneto, Jawak Sarasaneto, Jawak Sarasaneto. Amapo naive.
Now, I don't know that Klingon song, but I do know the Koi Keles Puklod, Koi Pukbebu, Yachwa Makba Jejuvi.
Yes.
Say
No,
Makumeo.
that's some parallels when they sing him for "He's a Jolly Good Fellow," and they had to find. There's
Oh,
no Klingon
yeah,
word
it
for that.
is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They said you're a little louder, but
It's a good
we
episode.
got to give the crowd some entertainment. It's the best one. There's so many best ones.
Klingon battle songs.
I don't know any opera though, unfortunately.
I mean, there's that
That
bit
was
the
last week.
Doctor sings in Voyager. No, it's one of those things. I'm sure I know it, but I just can't think of the first line. If the first line comes to me, I know the opera. At least the bits that the Doctor sings. Not the whole thing.
Doctor and Seven.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I sang that a little bit earlier. The one with Doctor and Seven. The blood flowed with Kalis. The river
Oh,
swelled,
no.
ran crimson red.
No, the one where the Doctor transitions to Tuvok, I understand you are a Vulcan man. You have just gone with that for 7 years about.
Tuvok, I understand. You are a Vulcan man. Paris, please find a way to load a hypospray. I think it's Mozart.
Adona Immobile. That's what it is. That's what it's called.
Thanks. Kurtzon.
Kor's pretty cool here. Kor's a very understanding man. All the other Klingons are like, you can't be Curzon Dax, you're a woman now. You're not as strong as Curzon, you can't be him. Kor's like, Dax, we love you. We've missed you, Dax. Kor's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
Kiamo looking? Is Kiamo a Klingon word and the universal translator just glitched out for a second? What's Kiamo?
I guess it's one of those words that they don't have a translation for in Klingon.
Like jolly?
Or Federation speak.
This is what have you just logged into? This is a watch along. So the idea is you have your own episode queued up, and you talk about it in the chat, and we talk about it in Discord. And you can join the Discord too if you want. There's a link in the description. And we just watch episodes of Star Trek together. We've done a bunch of these so far, and we're on Season 2 of DS9 Blood Oath.
Episode 19. We usually don't sing Klingon songs along. That's just
Not typically. That's just Mr. Fiddle here.
We're in a merry mood today.
Doctorak. So if Dr. Rock is Iceman, and Data is at least once referred to as Iceman, can we refer to Data as Dr. Rock?
That's interesting. He is cold-blooded, so that's pretty much how non-technological people would view him as.
Yeah, Koloth, it's Dax. Koloth knows about symbionts, right? Yeah, see, Koloth is much less understanding. Yeah, if you want to join in, we're live every Saturday and every Sunday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern.
Rain or shine.
TNG on Saturdays, DS9 on Sundays.
No knowledge of Klingon necessary.
Amahak chol nebein majak voku.
We're all beginners here.
Yeah, and Koloth is, or not Koloth, Kang is just a jerk. Kor's totally cool with this. Koloth is kind of confused, not really understanding. Kang gets it, he's just being... Kang's just being a jerk. Kang, of course, was the main Klingon antagonist from the original series. Showed up all the time.
Starting with Trouble with Tribbles. He once said, half the galaxy is learning how to speak Klingon.
No, he said half the galaxy is learning to speak Klingon-y.
True.
They hadn't decided on what any of the words around Klingon are. I bet the homeworld was still called Kling at that point.
He had a smooth forehead back then, creating a huge continuity problem. That was only resolved in Enterprise.
I read one person's idea for that episode of Trials and Tribulations, where everyone goes back in time to troubles with Tribbles, including Worf. And I think that person was absolutely correct. With Trouble with Tribbles, they absolutely should have just put Worf in the TOS Klingon makeup and never mentioned it. Just nobody could tell the difference. It would have been amazing.
I think he just says, we do not talk about it.
Yep.
With outsiders. Thereby causing a huge problem.
We could have even seen Michael Dorn looking actually more like Michael Dorn. Well, it's a little extreme. You don't have to be that angry about it. And I have no comment on whether the explanation they gave on Enterprise was necessary or not. But I think the episodes where they do give the explanation are actually really good episodes. The Klingon fleet sent to purge the virus, just incinerating entire planets and entire colonies. It's pretty good. Phlox wrestling with medical ethics.
It's something the fans wanted for a long time. Other than a larger budget by the time it came around for the motion picture in 1979.
Wait, Curzon was a diplomat? Really? Curzon? Of all people? I guess that's not too much of a surprise given that Lwaxana Troi is also a diplomat. Federation diplomats are just awful. They're just the least diplomatic people you'll ever meet. We see a few more Federation diplomats on DS9. I think we've already seen that episode. And they're all just jerks there too. Is there one nice Federation diplomat? I guess Sarek.
Yeah, kind of like how diplomats don't pay their parking tickets because they don't have to. Pretty entitled bunch of people.
Yeah, maybe if he was a great diplomat for Klingons, maybe they did specifically get him as a diplomat to work with Klingons. Maybe that was his whole thing.
How are you gonna play me like that?
Got a plasma leak in in Pylon 1? The horror. How many people did you kill, Kira? It's a simple question. Dozens? Hundreds? All the diplomats in Star Trek 4.
And
I don't
Star Trek
remember.
6.
5, okay. Yeah, the ones where they basically committed treason, they were pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah, and Star Trek 6 Ambassador Nonplus was in there. But yeah, like Star Trek 5 too. They were just hostages, really bad hostages.
The only diplomat I can think of in Star Trek 4 is Sarek. I think he was on Earth. Just hanging out.
He's like the only good Federation diplomat. All the others are like traitors waiting to betray.
The diplomats in Star Trek 6 were also pretty bad. They were actually literal traitors.
Mhm.
Especially that Romulan ambassador, but I guess we can't hold that against the Federation.
Unclus. Valeris reveals his name.
I'm still unclear if the albino is a Klingon or not. I don't know what the albino is. I remember while Discovery was airing, there was a lot of talk about the albino and the albino's child. And a lot of people were speculating, including me, that Volk's child was going to end up being the albino here. Because that's the only albino Klingon we've ever met. And if it's a blood oath, you don't have the same blood, Jadzia. You might have the same symbiont, but the literal blood is not the same. Therefore, you're released from the oath.
It's kind of like Sirius Black from Harry Potter.
It's been a while since I've seen Harry Potter. What's the serious blackness here?
Runaway prisoner who like you just gotta find him
And execute
he-
him.
before he kills the main character.
I mean, we have 3 Klingon Dahar masters. They could probably get a ship in the fleet and just obliterate it. Just obliterate his whole compound. They wouldn't do that. They're going to go in with bloody swords because they're Klingons. But seriously, just bomb it from orbit. It's not that hard. All right. Core, does Core have a drinking problem? Do all Klingons have a drinking problem, actually? There's a lot
Mark
of
of a
blood wine in the
warrior.
show. I have a question. So we know that that Worf specifically loves prune juice. He calls it a warrior's drink. Later in
Yes.
the series, when Worf joins Martok's house, does he introduce Martok to prune juice? And does that mean, if he does, and given that Martok is Chancellor of the Empire, and even before that he was a highly respected general, if Martok starts drinking prune juice, does it become popular for other Klingons in the Empire, far and wide, to drink prune juice? That's going to be my headcanon. After Martok becomes Chancellor, everyone, all Klingons start drinking prune juice, just as habit.
Yeah, it would make preeminent sense. Do you like prune juice?
I've never had prune juice, I don't know. But I'm no warrior, so, probably not. I still don't know what Dahar means either. Is that like Klingon martial arts or something? Is he saying he's a black belt? Okay, now I want to look it up. What the heck is Dahar? Star Trek Dahar. Not Damar, Dahar. Different thing.
It's been like 16 years since I was studying Klingon intensely. Sorry.
Memory Alpha just says it's a title held by some legendary warriors.
So I guess it is like black belt or grandmaster for chess or something.
Oh, it's that one cave set. Oh yeah, there's the ledge that everyone hangs out in. Let's see, how many people hang out on that ledge? There's that one Cardassian that Garrick meets. Oh no, that Odo meets hangs out on that ledge. When they beam down during the rebellion on Cardassia, they beam down to that ledge. That was the
It looks like
ledge
we're
where... Yeah,
Cisco and the pirates have their final battle. It's like the same cave, really.
maybe.
And Valhalla was probably there.
And that's also the ledge where, during the Circle of the Siege, that three-parter episode,
Yeah.
the that first minister hung out. Yeah, he hung out on that ledge. And yeah, it's a very popular ledge. It's very dramatic. Oh, that's a heavy sword. Aren't swords supposed to be like 1 kilo on average? How
Yeah,
heavy
it's like
are...
two-handed. And plus, Klingons have more muscle mass, so they should be able to handle a 5-pound weight. Or, well, kilos is 2 pounds, right? Or no,
Yeah,
kilos would be
2.2.
that's a 10. So that's 10 pounds. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. 10 pounds is a lot for a sword.
Maybe it's well, I mean, it is typical apparently for Klingons though. They keep saying Klingons are a lot stronger than people, but they literally never show that. Everybody on the crew can beat up a Klingon.
True.
Oh, that's Koloth. I thought she was dueling with Kor. Yeah, I really have a hard time telling these Klingons apart. But hey, if Galth is supposed to be a Dahar master, Dax probably did pretty well. Gave him a good fight. It's also like the Vulcans, who are supposed to be 3 times stronger than a human, and that also never shows up as a thing. It never comes up. We do learn later on that Kang's actually trying to be nice when he's doing this. He's coming off as a jerk, but he does have good intentions. Kind of.
Space racist and sexist.
But he's only pretending to be space sexist. As we'll find out later.
So I'm Indian, and I didn't know until like a decade later of watching Deep Space Nine that Lord Curzon was Viceroy of India under the British, and that's where they got the name from.
Oh, for a second I thought you were talking about actually Curzon Dax. It's like, what do you mean he was... Oh, okay. I gotcha.
But yeah, it's a cool name. It's a cool name. It's just I'm reading it. I had to do a double take.
Was Viceroy Curzon of India, was he also just kind of a terrible person?
No, I think it's like he was a really cultured and well-read guy, and that's kind of why they picked the name. He wasn't that bad on the scheme of things. Cool name. I think he was a politician too before he became viceroy.
Okay.
And then I learned General Mountbatten lost to George Washington in the American Revolutionary War. So after he was done fighting the Americans and losing, they made him viceroy of India. I think Curzon was after him, the real Curzon.
Alrighty then.
But yeah, Trek trivia just informs my worldview, the real world also.
That's a really close up. Just the entire frame is his face. And his massive hair. There's literally not a single pixel that is not Kang's face. Oh, is that a new outfit for Jadzia? I don't recognize it. Yeah, I think that's new.
I think it is, I think. But the reason for that close up is because they have to keep the scale the same as Dax's face, and his hair is just so
Massive.
magnificent. The mane. So otherwise.
Man, Worf has a little bit of long hair, but it's like normal, straight, shoulder length black hair. Kang here. Kang has like a good 3 feet of hair that just sprawls out to the sides. Kang has a sphere of hair around him. I was about to say Dax maybe should at least bring a gun. But no, Cisco's probably not going to let her take a Federation phaser with her. I mean, she could steal one. But it probably wouldn't look good for the Federation if they come out and say, oh yeah, wait, they do have a ship. They have their own... Just obliterate the compound from orbit. Just shoot it. Or are they about to explain why we can't do that? No, no reason why we can't just shoot him.
You're a battle planner than Klingons. Although you've just reminded me though, in Star Trek: Birth of the Federation, great strategy game I used to play in the '90s. When you play the Klingons, you play 5 races. So when you play the Klingons, I think like they don't like orbital bombardment because it's cowardly.
Yeah,
how
Klingons.
are you gonna
Klingons are big on swords, really. This is why, despite being a warlike expansionist empire, the Klingons never actually expand because they just insist on using swords when everyone else has guns, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, and they decloak before they attack, things like that. Well, usually, except in Star Trek 6. But it's dishonorable to attack while cloaked.
Is it though? Is it a good day to die?
That's just fan service.
Yeah, they brought Batlets to a disruptor fight. I don't know what they're thinking. Yeah, Dax knows what's up. You don't need a plan for battle. Incinerate it from orbit. Yeah, Kang doesn't. It's not that Kang didn't want her. It's not that Kang didn't like her anymore. He was actually trying to spare her by just being a huge jerk to her. Make it so she didn't want to come with him. Wonder if there's any Amazon trivia about that. Oh yeah, 19, but I can't click on it or it'll pause the episode. Seems legit. You can probably trust this man. The albino who murdered what was it, his children? His wife? Someone. Maybe they could set up some dead man switches so if every one of them dies, then the ship automatically fires on the compound and self destructs. You get some free revenge out of it. They killed his firstborn? Okay. Very honorable of the albino. Hey, I think the Klingons would do this all the time because they exclusively use batlets a lot. Just bombard everything with Tetrion particles as standing policy. They probably should have done that when they took over Deep Space Nine, actually, or tried to. Probably could have done a lot better if everyone had just to go hand to hand with them. Granted, that might have been difficult with a, space station firing at them.
Good thing they brought her along.
I can't imagine it would be very honorable to get your own people killed for no other reason than
So
you've basically just given up.
just right after beaming down, it would have been a shorter episode.
Kang was not going to stove a core if he went through with that. Kang, Kor and Koloth could, but not Kang.
When you were talking about stealing a phaser from Starfleet, it reminded me of that Lower Decks episode where they want the T-88 tricorders from the new ship.
Those new tricorders? Have you seen those new tricorders? Oh, they're so good. A man can dream. Some nice battle planning here. Kang just sort of relaxing against a tree, just chilling. It's extra helpful to make it so they can't use their weapons, because it'll take them a long time to realize their guns don't work anymore. Koloth, what are you doing, man? What are you doing staring at that guy? Did you kill him? He probably killed the lookout. So they're definitely expecting the Klingons, because they made a deal with Kang. Wouldn't the sensors always be looking for Klingons or the Klingon ship in orbit? Shouldn't they know they're here? I can't imagine the
Maybe.
albino was just waiting for death.
Yeah, or he put that much money into a secure compound and didn't even have sensors looking at who's in orbit.
No, we saw it in orbit. It's not even cloaked. They're just hanging out.
Yeah.
It should have been cloaked. They 100% should have cloaked. Yeah, there's the albino. He doesn't quite look like a Klingon, but apparently he is.
He looks like a member of the Federation President species from Star Trek 6. Or no, somewhere.
I know the
It's another
Federation president. Oh, I know who you're talking about.
The species is grazerite, and it's funny because graze means like when a goat eats grass or a cow. So I think it's because he had like that goat beard.
Actually, I think the Federation president from the TOS movies, the guy with the big mustache. Is that the one you mean?
Yeah.
I looked him up because he definitely looks like he's supposed to be an alien, but no. They insist that he is actually a human.
Oh, that's funny.
He's just a weird looking guy.
Funny.
The Federation president from Deep Space Nine is an alien. Jarish Inyo.
All right. Okay. I confuse both of them, but you're right. They're two different people. I don't think we ever see him in TNG.
No, I don't. Not that comes to mind.
You just see admirals in Starfleet Command.
Like they're swinging their guns at them, but they're not even using the bayonets that are attached. They're just like trying to hit them with the butt of the gun. Yeah, the Federation president was the guy who looked like a kung fu grandmaster. That's right. He honestly kind of looks like a Klingon, but he's not. He's just a weird looking dude. In fact, let me get a picture of him while these people are just hitting each other with props. Federation President Star Trek. Yeah, here he is. Oh, there was also this guy. Yeah, this guy's human, obviously. But there's this dude. Efrosian, apparently. Let's see what Memory Alpha has to say about it. No, this does say just humanoid species.
Yeah, that's funny to me. But oh well.
Weird. I could have sworn I looked him up and it said human before.
I guess he's a biker or something.
But yeah, that was the Federation president. And then there was also
He has too many forehead ridges to be human, but okay.
the guy
Oh,
from
someone said-
DS9.
Someone said a Frosian, so I guess he is a Frosian. Oh right, see that's the Grace one. Yeah, without the facial hair.
Yeah, Jarashinu, definitely not human. Decidedly not. That much I can tell. I don't know if this is a hat or hair. It's probably a hat because it has this weird button thing. Actually, you can see his hair, come to think of it. Jarshinu's a pretty cool guy. He'll show up in, I think it's season 3, might be season 4 of DS9. What are you even doing, Kang? You're not even getting close to hitting that man with your batleth. Dahar Master. Is it that deadly? I'm pretty sure everyone who knows anything about swords has agreed that batleths are actually just terrible. Maybe Kang's batleth was so weak because he just smashed it on the ground and it broke, apparently. Maybe it's so weak because he's had the same batleth his entire life and it's just old and brittle now. From smacking against so many things.
I mean, they said before they left, let's sharpen our swords. He's like psychologically messing with her.
Yep, she totally was saving the death blow for you. That's 100% what was going on, Kang, for sure. Koloth's dead. And he's in Stovokor. They don't all die except Jadzia. Hor survives because he has to show up later and be a foil for Martok. Hor survives. He makes friends with Worf.
She should feel good. She gave like new purpose to their lives.
Or their deaths, as it were.
Yeah.
But then it might have been better for Kor if he died here because he's kind of slipping into dementia next time he shows up in the series. He does get what the Klingons would consider an honorable death in the end, but it's touch and go. What were you saying?
I got a new song to memorize. Kinana Lometo.
Okay. Just nobody's going to mention it. Nobody wants to talk about the murder. Just pretend it didn't happen.
Starfleet is great. You can just pick up and go on side missions whenever you like.
Oh yeah, happens all the time. They're very
Assassination.
understanding.
I need some personal leave. Captain.
All right, so the next episode is the Maquis Part 1. The Maquis Part 1. Let me update the title here. There we
4
go.
hours.
And just a quick 1 minute timer. If anyone else would like to join the Discord, join the voice chat, there's a link in the description. You just click on that, click on the channel, and you're in.
We are
No
in
password
for
on
a
it.
treat today. We're so lucky today, folks.
Let's see what the trivia for this episode is while we wait. Jake has a comm badge that he could use to track him. We'll see if he actually has a comm badge. I don't know if that's true or not. Maquis named after French Resistance. I don't care. I'm looking for Star Trek trivia. Early episode. Had Jake get involved with an old friend of Cisco's who is now a mercenary? Okay. Jake Sisko doesn't appear, so we don't even know if he has his comm badge. This goof trivia is just guessing. Alright, we're coming up on start time. Cue up to 0 and press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. That's not a triangle ship. That looks...
Kind of is.
It looks vaguely Cardassian. Oh, hey, it is Cardassian.
Yeah, true. I think they just added like some new. They modded that triangle ship, but it looked like the triangle ship. Like, you know how when you do a Hyundai and you change the bumper and all that?
Sure, totally, 100% I know about car stuff. Absolutely.
I don't either, but what do they call it? They call it a mod when they totally change the whole chassis of the car.
I don't know. I'll look at it again, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. I mean, there are several triangular models, but there's only one real triangle ship.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I have to get a closer look at it.
It wasn't that one, though.
No, that wasn't Ennington. I did think that when he first showed up on screen, but no, that was just some random guy. Captain Baudet? The Galamite with the transparent skull? Not at all. Yeah, what do you
Brain
even
size
mean?
itself.
Fault? Saying it's not his fault he has a transparent skull implies that the transparent skull is a bad thing. What do you have against transparent skulls?
She's being space racist. That's what
She is.
But brain size itself doesn't mean intelligence. It's the amount of wrinkles on your brain that make you more intelligent or not.
I mean, brain size is important too.
Yeah, for Neanderthals and chimps and all that. But just because my skull and brain would be bigger than someone else's, that itself doesn't mean the person is more intelligent.
In fact, our massive brain size relative to the size of our, species in general. Oh yeah, that's not the triangle ship. That's why birth is so awful, because we just have giant heads as a species.
But actually, so Neanderthal had bigger heads and theoretically bigger brains. But the problem is, once you have that big of a head, you also need the nutrients. And it's hard to find all the nutrients to deal with that big of a brain. And also feed your body at the same time. So they probably died out for that reason. Like, they weren't able to thermoregulate as well as we are.
Oh, well, maybe the Neanderthals should have gotten good. Take that, Neanderthals. We're the better species.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, all I really know about Neanderthals is a lot of people have Neanderthal DNA. A little bit. In fact, most people do. Actually, come to think of it, I think there's only one geographical region, one small subregion that doesn't have any Neanderthal DNA in the population. Nearly everyone has Neanderthal DNA. Just a question of how much. At one point, the brain was thought to be used to radiate heat from the body. That's okay. I don't know how people came to that conclusion. I mean, I would think that's an idea people had a long time ago, before, like, digital thermometers or anything. It seems like a weird idea to me. And if it was before thermometers, how do you even know where heat's coming out? You don't have thermal vision. Maybe they thought because it was like fins of a radiator, because the brain has a lot of wrinkles. All the wrinkles are good for radiating heat. Who knows? I'm sure someone knows, but I don't.
Yeah, I heard once when they found Einstein's brain, it just had a lot of wrinkles.
This is going
Wow, I
to take
wonder who
forever to
blew
clean up.
Yeah, wonder who blew up that Kardashian ship.
Well, we know who it was. It was that Eddington lookalike.
True. I mean, it probably was him. Thank you, fans and chat.
No, it doesn't really look like an accident.
You're that close to Bajoran space, Captain. Commander.
Is Kira not wearing an earring this episode? No, it doesn't look like she is. Hang on, does Kira usually wear an earring?
I believe she does, but you're right. I guess when she's doing bombing investigations, there's no time to accessorize.
Yeah, she wears it on her right ear most of the time, but she's not wearing it this episode. Maybe because it was an emergency situation. Maybe she was in bed and she didn't have time to put it on. She just had to rush out the door.
It's funny because she's kind of suspect number one.
Protomatter device. Ah, yes, the kind of matter that can do anything the plot writers decide it does.
So it imploded and it didn't explode.
I see.
Putting a magnet on the back of a monitor or something.
Maybe it was overloaded because they didn't have the regeneration limiter in the first stage circuit. First stage circuit. Yeah, Calvin gets it. Why does everyone make that same comment? I mean, even Jadzia herself makes that same comment.
Only Cisco has not made that comment. He just calls her old man.
Yeah, when Dax meets Worf, and he's like, "You used to be Curzon Dax." Jadzia says in Klingon, but the rough translation I looked up is something like, "But I'm much prettier than he was." It's like, I guess.
She's hitting on herself now. But yeah, Cisco knew Curzon too.
No, absolutely not, Calvin. You saw a translation, but I have much better legs. Okay, that could fit too. All we really know for sure is it loses something in the translation.
Guess it depends on the dialect.
Yeah, wasn't all basically all Klingon before Discovery just kind of gibberish. They just strung a bunch of Klingon words together without concern for grammar.
Oh, meaning grammar maybe, but they published a Klingon dictionary in '86, or like, and that's for Star Trek 6. Probably before that, like they had the script stuff going.
Okay.
So Klingon was a real language for a while.
It's a real language, but I think I saw the writers didn't actually look into it too carefully, and they made kind of weird statements.
That makes sense because I ran into a TNG technical manual, and it was the one used by the scriptwriters, and it was only like a couple of dozen pages. And then you have the TNG technical manual that was published for fans. That's like 200 pages. So there was some fleshing out going on as the show became more formal.
Oh yeah, that ship model in the background, isn't that is that Daedalus class? I think it's Daedalus. That was a TOS ship.
Yeah, it was a colony ship. It was before the Constitution even. Like it's for the Piece of the Action episode and all that.
And then yeah, they made a very similar ship model for the Pasteur and All Good Things, the medical ship.
Yeah. That was a good touch. Captain Crusher was commanding that. Captain Crusher Picard.
Captain Picard of the USS Pasteur. No, Cal, there's definitely some risk. No, Cal, they've tried to start a war with you guys like twice so far in the last couple years. I mean, yeah, she was just a doctor, not a command level not a command officer, but no, she was a command officer because remember she went through the command training. It was specifically a medical ship, so she went on medical missions.
They called her captain, and they both turned around or something. So
yeah,
she had the pips and everything.
Oh yeah, she was 100% a captain. I'm just thinking of the TNG episodes where she's talking about how she did actually go through the command training program. And she was right. Commander, I think.
True.
I don't recognize those aliens.
Remember when she ordered Geordi to go into the warp core as it was radioactive?
Yeah, Troy did.
Yeah. Oh, that was Troy. Okay. So yeah, basically both Troy and Crusher got their certificates.
Yeah. Because Troy was asked, when Troy was considering it, she was talking to Crusher, was like, why did you go through the command training program? You're not actually in the command. You're not actually like in command of a ship. Why did you go through? It's like, well, I just wanted to branch out, learn more about being a person.
Right, it wasn't her career track, so she didn't have to get it.
But she wanted to.
So she could have that extra plaque on her wall. He's counting his gold press platinum.
Yep. I mean, she's Vulcan Quark. She probably just wants some tea or something.
Soy sauce.
Vulcan port. Since when did... I thought Vulcans didn't drink. Granted, it's 300 years old, so maybe they used to drink and they don't anymore. Or maybe I'm just completely wrong about Vulcan drinking habits. Quark, back up a bit. You're getting right in that woman's face. Leave her alone.
He's hitting on her pretty hard.
Oh, I know what I was thinking of. In an episode of Enterprise where Ambassador Saval is talking to Commander Shran, then Vulcan Saval says Vulcans don't drink, but he'll make an exception for him. Oh,
I guess
there's
it's
the
like
Editing look-alike.
the Vulcans don't lie.
Except they lie all the time. Vulcans love
Yep.
lying. Vulcans lie about not being able to lie.
Yep. I'm a Vulcan. I
In fact,
cannot lie.
doesn't Data at one point say Vulcans are physically incapable of lying, which is just demonstrably untrue? Is Data lying there, or is he just wrong?
I think he just drank the Kool-Aid.
Is Data just a
Although-
weeaboo for Vulcans and he believes every bit of propaganda about them?
Yeah, and then the other thing is though, the nerve pinch is supposed to be like a psychic ability or something. It's like kind of like the mind meld, and yet Data's able to do a nerve pinch, so it's kind of weird.
And so can Archer. Archer does it once.
Yeah.
What shape are Kotakian ships? Are they round ships? Are they
Mark Alamo.
triangular?
Is this Mark Alamo's first? No, it's not. He was the cop before.
Yeah.
It's his first time physically on the station since the show started. I mean, he was on, of course, he was on Empok Nor, but he's back. Cisco's not happy at all.
What is that look you're giving him, Ducat? Just staring unblinkingly at him. Once again, I feel compelled to point this out. Some people say Ducat was morally gray through most of the series, and he only turned pure evil at the end. No, due to Space Hitler. He's always evil. He's just, at the moment, his goals happen to align with the hero's goals.
Yeah.
Alliance of convenience, not because he's turning the page, not because he's becoming a good guy. I mean, yeah, Gul Dukat had the whole genocide thing. He's entirely egotistical. He wants to keep murdering people. But, you know, he's pretty charismatic, so that's cool, right? It's like, no, that doesn't excuse it.
I don't know. In his own twisted way, in his own twisted head, he's like the good guy. So
Yeah. Dude wants statues of him on Bajor.
yeah. So he's like, why don't they love me? I did so much for them.
I lowered the amount of genocide on Bajor. They should worship me. No,
Cleaned
God,
up
that's
the
not.
air.
That's not quite good
Cleaned
enough.
up the air on Tarak Noir. I saved a handful of people here and there if they became my concubines.
I mean, yeah, he may have had the Bajoran labor in death camps. He may have, you know, basically enslaved an entire species. But he made those Bajorans trains run on time.
In his head, he's like the Oscar Schindler of like Cardassians.
Exactly. No one has done more for Bajor than Gul Dukat. Exactly. Gul Dukat, the Bajorians were becoming a weakened species. They were just doing art and culture and all that lame junk. They were becoming weak, and the Cardassians made them strong again. Gave them the will to fight and to live.
We brought them to the space age.
Never mind the fact that they were space age like 1,000 years ago. We made them into a better space age. Joy is vulnerability. Okay.
Mm.
Is he complimenting Cisco here? I think he's trying to, actually. the Cardassian tribunals where the entire court system, everybody who goes into it is guilty no matter what. The verdict is decided before the trial. The trial's just to make the Cardassian people feel better. Cardassia's great.
Yeah, I love later when they're all under trial on Cardassia. Like, oh, the verdict's already been decided. We're just doing this as a formality.
Yep. To show how we came to conclude that you were guilty.
Show how democracy works on Cardassia. That's just for the people's benefit. But I later learned though Soviet Union trials are pretty much the same thing. Like that's why they call them show trials. But basically the verdict's decided. We're just doing this because
Okay.
we got nothing better to do.
How do you fit Gallo-class phaser banks on a shuttle? Like, physically, how do they fit?
Yeah. Makes no sense.
Aren't Gallo-class, like, Galaxy-class sized? Maybe a little
Right.
smaller?
You can't put a Galaxy class armament on a runabout.
How does it generate the power for that much weaponry? How does any of this work? I mean, to be fair to them, Cisco here is also in a glorified shuttlecraft. And they exclusively use glorified shuttles for the next season. Oh god, the intermix ratio. They might honestly say they boost the intermix ratio, but we've already established in TNG the intermix ratio is 1-to-1 no matter what, because it's matter antimatter. It has to be 1-to-1 by definition. And yet sometimes they imply it's not. And I don't... What is the deal with the intermix ratio? It doesn't make any sense. Ah, yes, boost it to 5-to-5. Perfect. That'll make a huge difference. Typical Star Trek. It reminds me of TNG The Wounded, when they're watching
Yeah.
the Pegasus,
And it's
or not the Pegasus.
it's Marco Limo in there too, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name. He's another Gull, but I don't remember Gull what.
Goma set.
Yes, that's right, Gomaset. Yeah, and they're just watching on the view screen as ships destroy each other with those same displays.
It was even more sad in TNG because Marco Limo says there was like over 1,000 women and children on that ship, Captain.
Not just the men, but the women and the children, too. Cardassians are like animals, and he slaughtered them like animals.
And here we just cut to Quark seducing this Romulan, Vulcan woman.
Vulcans are vegetarians, but maybe they're okay with eating mussels because they're replicated. It's not real meat. Yeah, no. I don't think she's going to be dancing on the tabletops, Quark.
I doubt that, bro. You're lucky she's having dinner with you.
She's also not, she might also just not be vegetarian because she's a fairly emotional Vulcan, given that she's working with the Maquis.
True. But remember, Valerius was trying to derail the peace treaty. She was working with the Romulans and then the Klingons. I think logic leads people to all sorts of conclusions, to be honest with you. Logic doesn't dictate anything.
I love logic. Logic's great.
I love that scene in Star Trek 6 when Spock says to Valerius, logic, logic, logic. Logic is the beginning of wisdom, not the end.
Yep. I also like the line in that same scene. Dang, now I was about to say it, now I forgot what I was going to say. I don't know. There's another another line in that scene I like. I'll have to think of it in like 10 minutes. What movie was that? Was that Star Trek 6?
6, the beginning. It's when they do the tea ceremony or whatever.
I'm just looking up the transcript to remind me of what I was looking for.
She asked him about the expulsion from paradise.
Yeah, I found it. It was history is replete with turning points. You must have faith that the universe will unfold as it should. And I use that line fairly frequently. I'm a man of exactly zero faith, but I do use the line, you must have faith, quite a bit. Is that Golovec? I think that's Golovec. He shows up fairly frequently, including on TNG. Yep, that's him. Yeah, when they deal with the Maquis near the end of TNG, when they first become a thing, they interact with Golovec there as well. Does the Federation conduct secret wars actually? Hang on, what? Have the Federation conducted any secret wars that we know of? Ah, the Yeti didn't look alike. I'm sure he's doing great. A Norwegian? Yes, let's get on with it, Golovec. We just said we know who he is. I don't think they're allowed to do that. I don't think they can go to DS9 and just kidnap people. Don't they have to have, extradition hearings for that? Not that the Cardassians really care about those stuff, but legally speaking. He didn't even look like he'd been too terribly tortured. He probably was, but they cleaned him up nicely for the video.
They could have shined some brighter lighting on him, though.
They probably didn't go through the whole rigmarole that they did with Captain Picard. It was probably a lot simpler.
Yeah.
It's like, hey,
Sure
if
got
you don't
much
tell us
credit.
what we want to know, we're gonna punch you. It's like, okay, okay. I'll tell you anything.
Yeah, no remote control pain inflictor needed for this one.
Captain Picard had a goal dedicated to him for like a week. They were committed. Oh, this is the same set as well, I don't know what, but
yeah.
it's reused. I know it's a reuse, I don't remember from where.
I think last week when they were doing the village that was holographic.
Maybe.
Looks like it was filmed at the same time.
I mean, you're in the Federation, man. You can have anything you want. They'll totally give you another planet you can settle. I mean, yeah, they got attached to the land and the farms they created, but the Federation would have helped them recreate them if they really wanted to on another planet. Ensigns of Command, that's what it was. I think that's right. I think that's a reuse from Ensigns of Command from TNG. It might have also been that one from the DS9 episode, but it was definitely Ensigns of Command as well. Which is somewhat appropriate, actually, because it's kind of the same plot.
Yeah, it's the same planet, more or less.
Trying to get people to leave when there's a hostile alien force who basically own the land you're living on.
Except they can't use that line about Picard's ancestors enforcing the treaty to kick the Native Americans off their land 500 years ago. Because Cisco's ancestors were not complicit in that.
No, Cisco's ancestors probably had some other concerns going on.
Yeah.
Especially given Cisco's interactions in both that episode where he's Benny Russell, I don't remember the name of it, Far Beyond the Stars. Far Beyond the Stars, and the episode where he's talking about why he doesn't want to go to VIX. About basically he's saying his ancestors were American and had a really rough time there.
Right. Segregated and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would not have been allowed at VIX.
Yeah. They could be janitors or waiters, but customers, never.
And the Bell Riots episode was really great too.
Yeah.
He wasn't in New York though.
And it's coming up.
But yeah.
In the show as well, but I'm thinking of in real life, the year of the Bell Riots is fairly near. We're almost to the Bell Riots. Oh, I'm not sure I want to see Cisco in Lederhosen. No, that seems like it would be weird. I wonder if someone's drawn that, actually. Hang on. Let me look up Cisco in Lederhosen. Let me see if I can find any drawing of it. No, it doesn't look like anybody's made that. Which is surprising, honestly. Maybe I'll have to make that.
You draw?
Nope, but I can Photoshop a little bit. I can find some pictures of Lederhosen, find some pictures of Cisco. Splice them together. I'll have to find like a picture of shirtless Cisco or something, or just some other guy and then put Cisco's head on the person. That'd probably be easiest. Yeah, see, this is one of those points where where Ducat almost sounds like he's being nice. Like, no, I care about life. he shouldn't have been killed in interrogation. And then he goes into, because we would have had an advantage if he was still alive. It's like, no, that's the wrong reason for wanting to not kill him. It's the wrong reason. Okay, did it follow its route? Do you mean its actual route, or do you mean its flight plan, Ducat? Because people deviate from their flight plans quite a bit in Star Trek when they're smuggling.
Ducat's acting like he doesn't know how smuggling works.
Yeah, links are automatically removed. So also, if you ever leave a comment on one of my videos that has a link in it, that won't show up. It just gets taken down. There's also a number of banned words, but those don't come up too much. They're just words to get rid of the sex bots that come up on live streams all the time. Like, don't try to use a kissy or heart emoji, because that'll get removed. Yeah, I can leave it in Discord. There's no link filtering over there. Oh, Cisco walking on the beach with Jennifer. No need for a picture. I can picture that exactly in my head, because that was really weird. Just everything about that scene was weird.
That's cool. Gotta love the fans, fellow fans. Because I was pretty sure there's no shirtless pictures of Cisco anywhere. You're right.
Oh, maybe there's a picture of just Avery Brooks on a beach somewhere. Sipping Jippers on a beach somewhere.
What were you saying about Quark?
Just don't say that stuff to the Vulcans. Just leave her alone. Yeah, I can get you the full list of banned words if you like. Hang on, we've got a bit of a lull here in the episode. Let me go into my YouTube studio and see what I've blocked. Settings, community. Make sure I'm not going to show anything bad if I unblur the screen. Nope, just some analytics. So yeah, here's what's blocked. Your links are blocked, and these words and these emojis are blocked. Oh yeah, let me post the full list in chat. That sounds like a great idea, Shell. It probably would allow me to post them. Probably. No further threat of Cardassian reprisals. I don't know. There's been a lot of threats of Cardassian reprisals, Cisco. Yeah, like here's the list of blocked things. Like there are some actual things that get blocked, like this comment. I don't really check this very often. Like this is an actual comment, that's fine. But there are a lot of just junk that gets filtered out, especially on live streams. But yeah, I don't really check the comments held for review. I mean, I feel you, Kira. These people... It's probably not terribly helpful to live next to people who were enslaving you a year ago. Sorry, 2 years ago now. It's probably a bit difficult to live peacefully.
Are you allowed to be racist, though?
Me or Kira?
Kira.
Apparently she is,
I mean,
yes.
she has hard feelings, but it's like...
It's okay, everybody's racist against the Cardassians. The disgusting spoonheads.
Okay, I'm offended. Okay.
Now, does Gul Dukat have a blue spoon? He probably doesn't have a blue spoon.
That would have been a big win for the terrorists.
Is this a good idea, Mr. Maquis, man? This seems like a very bad idea. Yeah, apparently Dukat does distrust Vulcans. It's probably... I think that makes sense. He probably specifically distrusts Bajorans because Bajorans are the ones who hate Cardassians, especially since the Vulcan was escorted by a man in a Starfleet security uniform. So that lends some extra credence to it. I think that's fair. I think they're actually going to be holding Dukat in that same cave set. In part 2. Once again, Odo showing his inner founder. He just wants to impose martial law on the station.
Yeah, it's much easier when the Jem'Hadar just follow orders.
50 deputies? It's not that... There's not even that many people on the station, Odo. What do you need 50 deputies for? Yeah, that's a somewhat problematic statement. It'd be just like the Cardassian occupation, but at least things were safer then. Odo, you can't say that. People were enslaved on the station. It was an ore processing facility. It was a labor camp in space.
It was a meat grinder for people.
You know, except for the select privileged few who were forced to be concubines for the Gulls.
For the collaborators would sell out their own people.
But they weren't really. They were forced to be in that position because, like, Kira's mother, she was a concubine for Dukat.
Remember the businessman or businesswoman who were like later, whose widow was murdering people?
Oh yeah.
They were Bajorans who collaborated.
Not all of them, though. Kira's mother was doing it to protect her family and give them all the food and stuff that they needed.
She didn't have any choice. He was so creepy around her mother. Reese. Just the way he said her name was like cringe. Literally cringe.
Okay, what's Kira about to dramatically announce? There we go. The Maquis. The Maquis.
That comes from the French resistance to the Nazis in World War II.
I mean, that's quite appropriate because the Cardassians are just space Nazis.
Viva la résistance.
Dr. Bashir in the background looking very serious. He's doing his best to act dramatic here. And we're about to lose one more there. The USS Voyager. You're right, his name's not Dr. Bashir. It's Siddiq al-Tahil al-Fadl Abdurrahman Muhammad Ahmad Abu Karim al-Makti. Well, I can't even type out the whole thing? You can't type out Siddiq El Fadil El Tahil Abdurrahman Muhammad Ahmad Abu Karim El Makti. There's a Klingon ship that's going to be lost in the Badlands. With Worf on board. And Ezri has to go rescue him. Can I type it out without looking it up? I mean, I might misspell some things. But sure. Siddiq El Tahil Fadil Abdurrahman. No, that's... There we go. Abdurrahman Mohammed Med. Hello, Father Rahman Muhammad Ahmed. Abdul Karim. In fact, there's one extra word. Let me adjust it here. There we go. Commander Hudson. He was secretly a Maquis the whole time. Very dramatic. Alright, let's next episode is going to be the Maquis Part 2. And just a quick 1-minute timer. Just a continuation of the same episode. Part 2. Yeah, the Maquis is a pretty good two-parter. We then get the Maquis in TNG. And we also get a little bit of Bajoran terrorism before the Maquis is established. But that's when they're still calling them the Bajora instead of Bajorans. And I think they changed the name of the Bajoran planet. I don't remember to what, though.
I think it was like the pronunciation was Badger to Bajor.
Oh, it was Bajor.
Yeah, right. The emphasis was on the wrong syllable.
Exactly. Alright, everyone queued up to Maquis Part 2. If you want to join the Discord, there's a link in the description. And press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. But yeah, if you want to join the voice chat, it's open to anyone. Just link in the description to Discord.
You can't know more Trek trivia than us.
And that's not a
You
rule,
can't.
that's just a fact. Troop transport? Wait, what are the Maquis going to do with troop transports? The Maquis don't really even have troops.
Yeah, you're right about. They're not even moving colonies from.
Yeah, they work in small terrorist cells. What are they going to do with the whole transport?
They don't even move colonists from colony to colony. That's like the last thing they need. I guess it would just be to take them out of Cardassian hands and Federation hands.
Or maybe they're looking to really ramp up and actually start getting armies.
Yeah.
I can't imagine Starfleet would be terribly happy about that.
I do like to imagine sometimes, as the series kept going, would you have an independent neutral zone that's like anti-Federation and anti-Cardassian? Because that's where it was leading up to. Case in point.
Until they all got wiped out by the Dominion. Good job,
Admiral's
Dominion.
part of the Maquis? Oh, right, that's true.
Not the
Lost
Admiral,
them all.
Commander Hudson.
Okay.
I don't
Commander.
think there are any admirals in the Maquis. Not that I remember.
Yeah, admirals are too stuffy to join.
The thing with admirals are evil and always willing to go against Starfleet. But the Maquis actually kind of have a point, so the admirals can't have that. They have to just be mindlessly evil.
Yeah. It was pretty emotional in Voyager when they announced that, like, all the Maquis are dead.
Oh yeah, and B'Elanna has that whole scene in the cave set where she goes and sees her dead Maquis friends. She goes to the holodeck and just murders Cardassians over and over again. B'Elanna has some emotional issues that needs to work out. It's like that episode of Lower Decks where you just do self-therapy by just killing things. holographic things.
I mean, it would feel pretty bad if you're the only members left of the Resistance, and only because you were 30,000 light years away.
But at least she still has some Maquis friends on the ship itself. Not, a lot. Still wiped out the vast majority of the Maquis, but some survived.
And Seska.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to post a clip of that where Chakotay says she was working for them, you were working for her. Was anyone on that ship working for me? Not because
Yeah,
just
he was talking
because
about Tuvok working for Janeway. So he
yeah.
was working for you. She was working for them. Who the heck on that ship was working for me?
Just because sometimes there are little lines like that that I like to just watch just that little bit because I think they're funny. But I don't think anyone has actually posted that specific clip, so I wanted to do that. Just so I can go back and
Hilarious.
rewatch it occasionally.
Basically, the Maquis was infiltrated left and right.
Well, they just let basically anybody in. Like that episode with Ensign Rowe. I mean, Ensign Rowe ended up actually joining them, but for a while she was just a Federation infiltrator. They trusted immediately.
You just have to act like a SJW. That's how you get into the Maquis. Free the people.
It's a very mossy forest. We really need to clean this place up. Bunch of low-lying
looks
fog,
like
there's moss all over the place. Come on.
Looks like Dagobah. If you think Cisco is joining the Maquis, you don't know Ben.
Hey, they were best friends for a while. I
Okay, so he's doing the rapport thing. Okay, that makes sense.
I can't imagine, even if Cisco wanted to, there's no way that would work. Deep Space Nine it's one of the most significant stations in the Federation because it controls the wormhole. There's no way Starfleet would not notice that there was a terrorist organization being run out of it. Especially with all those Federation officers on board.
Yeah.
How rude. You can't just shoot people, Cal. What are you doing, man? Very rude of him.
If it was like another movie, they would have hit him on the head and knocked him out cold.
Yep. Now they're face down in the fog and the mud and the moss.
Zapped out.
I mean, yeah, he apologized, but I feel like a simple sorry doesn't make up for shooting someone.
That's a best friend privilege.
Oh, sure, let me go up to a friend and just, shoot him in the hand or something. Something that's not lethal. And then just like, oh, sorry. I'm sure they'll be totally cool with that. I mean, granted, there's no permanent damage, but I mean, there's gotta be some. Because if you knock someone out in real life and you actually knock someone unconscious, they can have severe like brain damage if you do that. It's a bad thing. How much do you have to get stunned with a phaser before you start taking major brain damage? It's gotta be bad for you. It's still going by Sadiq El Fadil in the credit sequence. Let's see, anything else? Oh, you guys keep watching. I'll be back in just a second. Alright, I'm back. I got a delivery. Had to pick it up from the pick it up off the porch. I mean, I probably should wash my hands picking up packages off the porch because you're supposed to wash your hands after you interact with anyone. But I did not do that. No, you're not banned. I still I see your messages. And everyone
Just
loves this
Admiral-
little bit.
Yeah. Remember, she was the one who ordered Picard to send Hugh back to the port.
And she was the one who ordered Picard to take the Native American colony off of their colony.
Yeah.
But again, people sometimes
Oh,
quote her as an evil admiral, but she's not. She's just doing her job, really. She might be a bit callous about it, but she's just doing her job.
true.
She means well.
The people are shocked in Picard when you have callous admirals.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we've always had that.
You're not
Shocked.
allowed to be mean to Captain Picard. We like Captain Picard. It's like, well, maybe if Captain Picard wasn't so stuck up and full of himself, maybe we wouldn't have to be so rude to him to get him to do something.
Should have
For
brought
the
her back for
record,
the
Captain
Hugh
Picard's
episode.
my favorite.
But the Hugh thing is pretty morally ambiguous, though. I'm gonna send back a living person and use them as the weapon. But obviously, she has Starfleet's interest in mind. That's why she has those fancy pips.
The thing is, the Hugh thing. Oh, I'm going to shut up for this quote. Out there, in the demilitarized zone, just people. Angry, scared, determined people who are going to do whatever it takes to survive. That probably sounded a little out of sync because nobody's going to be at exactly the same second as me, but,
That was great.
just pretend it lined up.
Oh, it lined up.
Okay.
Vouch for that.
It lined up for at least one person.
No, it's good because you got to appreciate Avery Brooks' acting, and you didn't interfere with that for the crowd. What a great dialogue. Ah, that's why we love this show, folks.
Yes, this has got a point. It's easy to be a Satan. On Earth, there are basically no obstacles to overcome. You just get anything you want. You can do anything you want. People
Yep.
on the borders of Federation
biggest
space
worry-
with the Cardassians.
Your biggest worry is how to run a Cajun restaurant,
Whereas people are over here dealing with limited supplies, limited medical supplies, a group of hostile
Hostile.
aliens who enslaved them before. Yeah. Bit of a
not
rough
to mention
one.
harassment and raiding and all kinds of ways to make your life hell. Angry, scared, determined people.
Who are
Wow.
going to do whatever it takes to survive.
Hmm.
Though Avery Brooks says whether it meets with the Federation approval or not. He doesn't say the Federation's approval. It's just the Federation.
Mhm.
Okay, deflectors, navigational arrays, pretty benign, not a big deal. Maybe a bit of a bigger deal. Couple hundred photon torpedoes. Don't forget the troop transports. I don't know if Quark technically broke the law here.
Mm,
He didn't actually sell anything. I guess it depends if he got a
Yeah.
kickback. Did he get a commission?
no, the U.S. State Department, though, if you If you can't facilitate something like that. Like many times a terrorist group will have a charity wing and a military wing, and if you only give money to the charity wing, you're going to be arrested because funds are fungible and stuff like that.
But what if
Even
it's a
though you
terrorist
never-
group that we like?
Yeah, that's a good point.
We can totally give money to some terrorist groups.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Poor Quark.
Odo's so happy.
Oh, Leggett Parn. Leggett Parn looks a bit chubby, Leggett Parn. I guess Leggett must be a pretty cushy job. He's not out in the field doing work. Just that most Cardassians are very fit.
Yeah, they're buff. Unless they're out of shape war criminals. I guess
exactly,
the war criminals are all.
They aren't terrorists, they're freedom fighters, exactly.
This guy was definitely doing some bad stuff back in the Bajoran days.
Yeah, there's also that Cardassian in the civilian government. The one with the orphan kid. He was also pretty big. I think it's just high-level government officials.
Have a bigger BMI.
Oh, was he a Klingon lawyer? Honestly, he might be. He does look a little familiar. Leggett, Parn, actor, IMDb. John Shuck. Let's see. Control F, Star Trek. He was a Klingon ambassador in Star Trek 6 and Star Trek 4. He was that
makes
ambassador.
A lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
He was in an episode of Voyager that I don't recognize, Muse. He was in Star Trek Enterprise as Antok, who was... Oh, that's right, he was the Klingon who worked with Phlox on the Augment virus.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably who I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we wouldn't want to hang out here anymore. Terok Nor was so much better. You don't even have Bajorans waiting on you anymore. You have to actually, like, get your own food and clean your own quarters. It's gross.
Harry's got the earring back.
Oh yeah, she does. But he's dead anyway. Typical Cardassians. They'll blame anything on the destruction of the Bachnor. Use it to justify any response.
The more the Cardassians overreact, the more the Maquis are going to get justified.
Come on. O'Brien, we know which planet it is. It's the same planet literally everything happens on. It's the one cave. We know where it is. Yeah, but Dukak could be useful to them. Dukak can, like, testify and stuff. You know, the turbo lift going down like that is a lot less dramatic than the turbo lift doors closing to end a scene. It just looks silly the way that thing goes down. Yep, there's the ledge. That one ledge. At least they put a ladder up to it this time. Dukat's having a great time here. At least Ducat's not upset about being kidnapped. He's just enjoying messing with these people. Typical Ducat.
Reminds me of how U.S. soldiers undergo waterboarding and other stuff to like get some resistance to torture techniques. It's not fun.
Unless you're Gul Dukat, he's having fun with it. Gul Dukat had a little too much practice. Now it's like nostalgic for him. Yeah, Marco Limo's a really great actor. Though that DS9 documentary that came out recently did make me a little uncomfortable on Mark.
What we leave behind.
Yeah, what we leave behind. I mean, I wasn't there, I don't really know for sure, but the documentary kind of made it seem like Marco Limo actually was kind of a creep to the Nanaw visitor. Not just Ducat and Kira, but the actual actor. So it made me a little more uncomfortable to watch Mark. Still a really great actor, though.
And we love the character, so we can't complain.
I mean, I can complain. I'm totally down to complain.
It's free on YouTube with ads, so you don't even have to pay $3 to rent it.
Yeah, I mean, you might have a different interpretation when you watch it. That's just the impression I got, and it's been a while since I watched it. Came out, what, last December?
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it when it came out and haven't rewatched it yet.
Maybe we can do that.
I would still
skip the Shades of Grey episode.
I was actually just about to say maybe we could watch that after we finish Deep Space Nine as a series.
True. The last episode of DC Nine was also called What We Leave Behind. So they weren't too creative with the title. So, Ducat is more dangerous tied up than people are free.
You get to live because we need to send the Maquis a message. You tell your people we're coming for them. We will find you, and we will kill you. Oh, Kanar. Man, that just looks gross. Looks like motor oil.
Yeah. Although it's dripping like molasses now.
Now, did Mark actually drink any of that, or did he just put the glass up to his face? I think the guy who plays Damar actually drank some of it. It was pretty gross. Ducat's just such an upbeat guy. He can't be a bad guy. He's so happy. He's so friendly. Federation justice. What do you mean found innocent? They're already guilty if they're going to court. Oh, good old Cardassian illusion of justice. It was totally a fair trial, guys, honest. Cardassians don't make mistakes, just fascist little accidents. Well, I hate to break it to you, Ducat, but you're the fall guy here. Congratulations, Ducat. You get to be the sacrificial lamb for the day. He's still trying to be in a good mood, but might have slightly dampened his spirits.
Do you think?
What was that?
Of course, when he lost Ajor and DS9, his standing among the ruling class would deteriorate.
It wasn't even his decision to leave Bayshore. It was made by the civilian leaders.
True.
He's been the fall guy more than once, apparently.
Yeah.
Do the Cardassians treat Bajor like Americans treat Vietnam? Like, no, we didn't lose that war. What are you talking about? We've never lost a war. We didn't lose Bajor. We chose to withdraw.
Yep. We won every engagement. We were just turning the corner when the Tet offensive happened.
We totally would have won. We just, we just got tired of it. We wanted to go home.
Yeah, there was no popular will to continue the war. But militarily, we had it down pat. If we stayed another year, we would have won.
Is what people tell themselves. Yeah, it wasn't quite working out.
Yeah, and by the way, people still say that. It's 20 years and you keep pouring more men and more money into the war and you're still losing. And if the military keeps saying, if you just give us one more year, about to round the corner.
So yeah, I imagine that's how the Cardassians think of Bajor. Refuse to admit defeat.
But it's funny because when he says that it was the civilian leadership, it's like it's ruled by a military council, I think, still at this point. It was at the time of TNG. So civilians really had nothing to do with it. Or maybe they had some democracy at that point.
I don't know. All I know is they reference civilian leaders in reference to the withdrawal. That might just be a lie.
I think it's called the Depka Council or something.
Oh, the Tatapa Council.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the Tatapa Council. The Tatapa Council comes after the Klingons. Comes around the time of the Klingon invasion. But it would have been something very similar.
Thanks.
I mean, that's a pretty good point. Okay, that definitely is one of the triangle ship models. That actually might be the triangle ship.
Yay.
I need to see a better view of it. I need to see a more complete view. But I suspect that might be the triangle ship.
So it's not confirmed.
Not confirmed. But I recognize the round... That red circle on the top of it. Star Trek... Hang on. Let me look up Husnock Warship. It's certainly triangular, but I don't remember if it's the triangle ship or a variant of the triangle ship. If it's just vaguely triangular in shape. Particularly, I need to see the impulse engines on the back. Okay, we saw the impulse engines. I was kind of looking away for a second there. Good convenient timing, though.
We made your day.
Exactly. Federation, Cardassian, Romulan, Klingon, Dominion, and Triangle ships. 6 kinds. That is a lot of wheat husks. I was kind of looking away at the time we saw the engines on the back. Now I'm like 80% sure it's it, but because I was looking away, I want to go back after the episode and confirm. Security verification 9218 black. I mean, you can make it a drinking game, but it honestly probably won't be that fun because we're gonna get a maximum of 1 drink per episode. But you can try.
Until we get to the Dominion War, maybe.
Wow, only the second order? Wow. Come back when you have the commander of the first order.
I like how Ducat counts.
I didn't
Chris?
increase the triangle ship counter because I want to go back and verify after the episode. Because I was looking away when we got a better view of it. I wouldn't want to misappropriate the triangle ship counter. I wouldn't want to offend it by pretending we saw something else.
The time was like 27 minutes in, or 28, 29.
Why do they keep putting people in the same cell? You have more cells.
It's like, why did they put Kira and Ducat in the same room? Just to have the tension.
Yeah.
Nobody wants a show without any tension.
Not for a second. I mean, you're not being logical here, so yeah. You're letting your emotions get away from you.
Yeah. This Vulcan is like definitely not a disciple of Surak.
She's acting stoic, but her motives are not logical, no.
Michael Burnham is a better Vulcan than she is.
But who, in your opinion, is the best Vulcan?
True. Zahn, I guess.
Zahn?
Yeah.
Who's Zahn?
He was supposed to be first officer in the show phase 2 or whatever, and then they made it the motion picture, and then they get rid of Zahn and they put in. So I think he's not. Yeah. So he's never confirmed. I think Lower Decks confirmed him by mentioning him or something.
All right. Yeah, one person said Tuvok, one person said Sarek. The correct answer is Tuvok.
Right.
Yes, this isn't a matter of subjective opinion. This has a
Correct.
strictly correct answer. It's Tuvok.
You're right. I forgot about Tuvok just because I try to forget about Voyager, generally speaking.
Oh, you disappoint. Voyager is pretty. I really like Voyager after the first 2 seasons. Voyager took the longest amount of time to get good, but it did get good eventually.
I like early Voyager better.
Really? Well, you're wrong.
Well, you were right about Tuvok, though. He is clearly, like, he doesn't break character once.
It's mostly the K's on that do it for me. I can't watch the K's on episodes. They just hurt.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. But I like all the Ogla, and the other factions of Kazon. It's really interesting, actually. They're tribal. And the fact they don't get a name to like grow up and kill somebody or something. I like their culture.
Yeah, Quark does have a good point there. Peace can be bought for a bargain price right now. It's probably the lowest price it's ever been. Now, nobody's actually going to make peace. We're going to get another, 2, 3 seasons of Maquis? I think 3. But, you know, the Maquis aren't the most logical people. If they were strictly logical, they would have just left. They just go to one of the
Yeah.
other planets the Federation offered.
You're right about that. It's such a huge galaxy. There's absolutely no reason to stay on any one planet, even if your grandpa tilled the soil.
Just
there.
send me. Oh, yeah, it has to be in Stuff Command, because that thing going down the mountain, that was the aqueduct
Yeah.
that they built.
Right.
Oh, yeah, Lon Suter and Voyager. Lon Suter was great. That actor was Brad Dourif, who also played Grima Wormtongue in Lord of the Rings.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the entire reason they want to stay here is sentiment. Which, you know, that's fine as a reason. It's just not logical. It's an emotional reason. Which is just why a Vulcan fighting for the Maquis cause, I don't think that's a logical cause for a Vulcan. So I don't believe that that is a logic-focused Vulcan. That was a pretty dramatic entrance. Wait, they have a Klingon? Maybe the Klingon just loves the idea of fighting a war with Cardassians. Oh yeah, I forgot about B'Elanna.
You gotta lay the Native American motif on thick though for the Maquis.
Now, are we talking real Native American or are we talking Chakotay?
Yeah, that's a different spiel altogether for a different series. I heard the
There's
advisor to
definitely
the
a difference.
show. I heard the advisor to the show for Voyager for Chakotay was like, he's this Italian guy who pretends to be Native American, and he makes like a lot of money lecturing about Native American culture.
And at the time they hired him, he was already a known fraud.
Yeah.
They just
pretty bad.
Didn't do quite enough research in finding that out.
Yeah. Here though, they just wear the bead, you know, like the quilt and stuff.
But the question is, are they far from the bones of their people here in the demilitarized zone?
Right. It's just to guilt trip the Federation even more.
These people can't be real Native Americans. They haven't said Akuchi Moya even once.
And I like Chakotay's tattoo. Even if it was advised by some Italian guy.
I mean, you say that, Cisco, but yeah, stopping the Maquis doesn't quite work out. And Dominion comes in and it's like, if you want to get something done right, you have to do it yourself. And they just immediately take out every Maquis. Starfleet could have done that if they really wanted to. Apparently, they just wanted the war to continue. Just wipe out every Maquis colony in the DMZ.
I'm pretty sure if you bribe people, because at the beginning of this, when they were having the council, they were arguing with the Cardassians. It was like, oh, we don't have enough replicators. Pretty sure if you built new settlements, people would happily move. Apparently not.
Man, it'd really help if they had some kind of bigger ship to fend off the Maquis. Maybe something that could defy Maquis aggression. Oh wow, Cisco took the Rio Grande for himself. He got the flagship. The Orinoco, though. Kara, I'm not sure you want to be in the Orinoco. Now, how long are they sitting here? And it's not a day or a week, we know that. Oh, they just got here right on time, apparently. I was gonna say, if they are they just sitting here for 6 to 8 hours waiting for them to show up?
Oh well.
Yeah, those are Federation fighters. We see those in the Dominion War. Where did they get Federation fighter craft? I mean, I don't know what you expected, Cisco. You tractored them, but in a position where they could still shoot you. You thought they were just going to sit there and say, "Oh well, guess they got us." No, they have guns, Cisco.
Let's try talking nice to them first.
Did the Starfleet Battles tabletop game first introduce fighters? Is that what was going on with them? Oh, yeah, I was right. They don't want to be in the Orinoco. The Orinoco was immediately disabled. Completely worthless as a shuttle. Meanwhile, the Rio Grande, they go and take it, and it stands toe to toe with some Dominion warships. Rio Grande, they send it into the Gamma Quadrant to take several direct hits from Dominion ships, and it's fine. Orinoco got knocked out by one shot from a shuttlecraft. What is the point? They damaged the Rio Grande? Wow. That's some good shooting, Cal. This is kind of a anticlimactic ending. They just kind of disable each other's weapons, stare at each other, and then leave. They run out of weapons to hit each other with, and they're like, "Well, now what? I guess we just go home."
No, one's weapons are knocked out, the other's propulsion is knocked out. So Cisco can fire. That's what Ducat wants him to do. It's like
And he should.
ship battles, right?
Blow them up. Destroy
Got
them.
your buddy in there.
Cast them into the fire.
Alive. He wants to give him a chance.
Kill him now.
He survived Wolf 359. He's not going to take Starfleet lives.
Murder them, Cisco. They died in battle.
You're like Ducat talking in my ear.
Isildur. No, you
You were
haven't,
really
Cisco.
helpful. You were really helpful this episode.
Cisco did not stop the Maquis. He stopped one attack by 2 shuttles. The Maquis are going to be going on for years. You didn't do nothing, Cisco.
They uncovered the plot, though.
No, the Maquis uncovered themselves. They took credit for a bombing. They were perfectly willing to go public with their terror group.
Resistance.
Ah, yes, freedom fighters, not terrorists. No, you didn't. No. He did
You
delay
delayed
the
the inevitable.
Cardassian War.
He delayed the inevitable, basically.
So see, the Cardassians have been trying to start a war for years. They did it on TNG, they're continuing on DS9. The Cardassians really want a war.
Yeah, and Starfleet keeps kicking the can down the road.
Alright. The next episode is something, but I don't care because we need to go back and look at the triangle ship.
The next episode is called The Wire, episode 22.
Oh yeah, it's the Wire, that's right.
We are going to confirm the triangle ship because that is the prime directive of this show. Everything else could be maybe.
It's gotta be earlier than this.
We don't call triangle ships for nothing over here. And
Okay,
we call
there's
it
one
the
shot of it.
triangle ship. Not a triangle ship. It has to be the. Alright, so that's the first shot.
And then
But then
I need
back-
the shot of the impulse engines.
Yeah, which is about a minute ahead.
I don't want to play the audio because that'll just get us shut down immediately. just the video. Okay. That sure looks like it to me. The impulse engines are a little bit different. Hang
It's
on.
definitely it. Compared to the image on top of your timer.
I'm pretty sure that's it, yeah, but I think they did change the engines.
I feel like they changed the top thing to make it a circle, but you said the circle thing was always there.
The circle thing is familiar.
The back is totally there, I think. But
We've
yeah, you're right. The things are...
We've definitely seen the red circle before on another ship.
So they modified the lighting a bit. Some people in the chat are trying not to give you the triangle shape point. I feel if you play it though, it looks definitely the same shape. If you like rewind 10 seconds, just play it.
Now I'm looking at various shots of it, and because they do glue different bits on and take bits off depending. Like there's these sort of container tanks on the side on this redress of the ship, and there's these sort of nacelle type things on the side.
Yeah, and they put like a satellite dish on top there too.
On this redress, they actually glued nacelles to the bottom. Here's a different impulse engine design too. This one has 3 impulse engines. And this one has 4.
And that looks a lot closer to what we have in this episode with the shorter lights. The lights are kind of, oh, this one is 4, yeah. The lights are a little shorter.
But yeah, the triangle ship I'm familiar with. I'm pretty sure it only has 2. This redress, no, this one has 3 as well. That has the 2. Though I can't really see the bottom because they glued some bits on.
Yeah, that's the same lighting, more or less.
Where have we seen this red circle? I've 100% seen this red circle on the top before. But it's not on any of this list of redresses.
I feel like if you rewind 10 seconds, when it moves, it totally moves like the shape of the ship is totally
This is very important. Yeah,
So
the movement of the ship looks like it, but
Brian Horn in the chat writes, the triangle ship is allowed to grow and evolve. Then he later adds, triangle ship wearing a Gap sweater is still a triangle ship.
yeah, but the thing is, there's multiple triangular ship models, but they're not actually all the same. We're looking for the one model that they glue different bits onto. There are multiple triangular ships.
I would confirm it, so would Shelvaku, who was another regular on the video cast. But this is not a democracy.
But the thing is, the real triangle ship has the 2 impulse engines on the top and then one larger one on the bottom. Whereas this has 4 engines on the back.
just lighting. Could be the same light and they just put a different attachment.
I have a plan.
We gotta like sleep on it. Like take both pictures and videos and compare it and
That is...
then like sleep on it.
Stop snapping to the side of the window, OBS. Whatever. It's going to be at... There we go.
We gotta sleep on it too though. Because if it's a confirmed, we can't just give it a half a point.
There we go. 8.5 triangle ships. 8.5. Alright, let's start the timer for the next episode, which is going to be The Wire. Yeah, it's a little bit off screen, but I mean, I guess I can fix it a little bit. There we go.
I see it. All right.
Yeah, 4 episodes this time because 2-parters are going to count as 1. 2-parters are always going to count as 1 episode. Just to make it a little bit more consistent as a rule, because like if like the first part of a 2-parter would be the 3rd episode in a day, then we'd still have to watch the 4 because we don't want to split up a 2-parter into 2 different weeks. Anyway, press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. And my timer kind of skipped a little bit there, but good enough. Ah, Garrick. Everyone loves Garrick. Magnificent sweaters, you say? Oh, this is the episode where we get some Cardassian literature. The Never-Ending Sacrifice. Yep, here it is.
So it's like Dante's Inferno, basically. I see. Or Paradise Lost.
I imagine the Never-Ending Sacrifice is like 4,000 pages long, and it's just the same story every 200 pages. It's detailing the entire life of each generation for like 4 generations. And they're all the same. Seven generations of a family. Where they all live the same lives.
Authoritarian literature.
More to life than devotion to the state? Ridiculous. How is there even a line? Replicating things takes like 2 seconds. What? Is someone just holding up at the very front of the line, umming and ahhing over what they want to order from the replicator?
Yeah, they fail to comprehend how a replicator works. The replimap.
Just sit at a table until you've decided what you want. Don't be one of those people that just holds up the line deciding. Just step back, let someone else go first, and just think about it.
Yeah, there should be a rule.
Oh, Garrick's happy implant isn't working so well right now. He's having trouble being polite. Is the Replomat free? I
It
assume the
doesn't sound
Replomat...
like it, because it sounds like a shop. You know, like they apparently pay rent.
But I assumed it was where there are some restaurants like there's Quark's, the bar, there's the Klingon restaurant, there's some Bajoran vendors. I assume the Replomat was the Federation run restaurant where you just order something and it's free because it's the Federation run.
Yeah. And I don't think we ever see somebody eating at the Replomat.
Oh, we see some. Yeah, we see a little bit.
Okay.
Most of our time is spent in Quarks, but we do see people eating at the Replomat.
And does anyone work there?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. That's probably why I don't remember.
I don't know if there are people working it, but it's hard to tell. Everyone's in the same uniform.
You got a tip.
Yeah, we also see Cisco eating at the Replomat at that time that Kira's asking him for a runabout. I think Dax eats at the Replomat sometimes.
I guess I just never noticed the decor because I'm sick.
You can tell the difference between Quarks and the Replomat because Quarks has all these flashing lights everywhere for some reason, and the Replomat has nice even lighting.
Yeah, even lighting, but they also have like the fluorescent light tubes in the background.
Yeah, Quarks is more red. The Replomat's more blue.
Yeah, yeah.
The Replomat doesn't have the sound of the doorbell wheel going constantly in the background.
Yeah, true. I guess I just never gave it a name.
I would always eat at the Replomat, not Quarks. Quarks just sounds like it'll give you a headache.
Yeah, true.
I mean, what do you want from him? He works on people, not plants.
McCoy.
Yeah, I think... What do we see any restaurants other than Quarks, the Klingon restaurant, and some Bajoran vendors like one of them sells Jumja sticks? And I guess Prince Humperdinck's restaurant for one episode, his casino. Benevolent? Who describes fungus as benevolent?
I guess it would be opposed to like the poisonous mushrooms or something.
Yeah, but typically you would say like symbiotic or beneficial. Benevolent implies like it has some helpful intent. It's a fungus. It doesn't have intent.
Yeah. Right. And plus, you can get Hasperat at Quarks, so there's no reason for you to have a Bajoran restaurant per se.
I don't remember the Bajoran restaurant. The Bajoran that flirts with Odo. I don't remember that.
No, I said Quark serves the Bajoran food.
No, I'm just reading the chat. Someone mentions that there's a... Someone at the Bajoran restaurant flirts with Odo. I don't remember that. Did you just... You just stabbed that plant. I mean, I know he was injecting... Oh, hey, Morn. I know he was injecting something, but he didn't have to do it so forcefully. Everyone's shutting down for the day because it's night in space. They're standing next to the one open window in Quarks to have this conversation. There you go. Stand literally anywhere else.
Still by an open cavity.
Yeah, why is the door open now? This must be because it's a Cardassian door, not a Federation door. It doesn't read your mind to tell if you actually want to walk through. It just opens when you get close to it. You know, like a real door. Quark's pretty good at improv here. Do you think he had this excuse all lined up already? Just making it up as he goes. What? Wait, did you guys see what Quark was doing with his hand? His left hand? He was like motioning, rubbing it back and forth next to Bashir's ear. Is that a Ferengi innuendo he's doing?
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, Cisco. Maybe he was just pointing. I'm going to choose to believe he was just pointing, because the other implication is somewhat uncomfortable. Wait, but why would they have medical files on Garrick? But why? I don't. But Garrick was never on Terok Nor, was he?
He was a tailor, right?
But not on Terok Nor. If he was a tailor on Terok Nor, that would have been at the time he was exiled. And if the station was still being held by the Cardassians, he wouldn't be hanging out there.
True.
But then, they do also say when Garrick is first introduced, that he's the only Cardassian left on the station. So he was there while the Cardassians were. I think that's just they changed Garrick's backstory later in the series when they knew what to do with him. I think at first he was just eyes and ears of the Cardassian government. He was just a spy for them. And then later they decided to have him in exile. Because that doesn't really make sense at the very start. Just give him his bottle, man. He wants it. He paid for it. It's his bottle. Beamed to the infirmary. Interesting. Usually they just call a medical team. They never really beam people anyway. Okay, but why did they change his clothing?
Bashir is totally violating medical ethics. You can't take somebody to the infirmary against their will.
I mean, I think you probably can if they collapse with a seizure.
Yeah, no, but if an ambulance shows up and you're like, I don't want to go, as long as you're awake, they can't force you.
I guess, but Garrick is decidedly not awake.
Yeah, but he was trying to say, "I'll give you the bottle back once you go to the infirmary." Before
But then he
stopped.
also said, make it stop, which would imply,
Mhm.
which seems like a call for medical help.
True.
In any case, no one's going to call him out on it. People like him. People like him. I'm willing to bet that's just racism against Ferengi.
No, just sneaky businessmen in general.
Yeah, this probably is not legal, no. Odo just monitoring the communications of everyone on the station, that seems like a pretty massive violation of privacy, Odo. Really leaning into his inner founder there.
Yeah, and the episode before, he was calling for like an extra 50 deputies and custom searches on every ship that goes in and out.
Yeah.
Who needs Big Brother when you got Odo?
Odo is the only big brother you need. The biggest brother. Oh
Comrade
yeah, I
Odo.
got bad news for you, Mr. Cardassian man. This is gonna be your last episode. Yeah, this isn't gonna go so well for you. How much latinum? Oh, that's a lot of latinum. I'm surprised. So we're. I'm surprised that Garrick didn't tell Quark any of the details. Like, it makes sense that he wouldn't have told him what specifically it was, but the fact that it's classified information seems like it would be quite relevant. That's going to significantly complement. That is going to significantly complicate acquiring the piece of technology. Yeah, nope. Nope, you're dead. And we will never see Bohica again. At least by this point, they've finally decided on Garrick's backstory. Man, the Order has to have a lot of storage space. They're recording a lot of stuff. Yeah, I think this is the first mention of the Order. Otherwise, they wouldn't have said it so dramatically and had the exposition here. Poor Garrick. Garrick just wants. He just wants to be happy. Dr. Bashir should really set it up so if his patient leaves, he gets a notification on his communicator. Right now, he has no idea of what's happening in the infirmary. Yeah, no night shift. There was not another doctor there. There weren't any nurses. It's just Bashir. Bashir in the day shift. Wow. How's Garrick still standing then? If he's being serious, that would have anesthetized a mammoth. Cardassians really must be made of sterner stuff. That Garrick seems perfectly functional right now. Yeah, Garrick, you really should have probably warned him about that. Seriously, enough to anesthetize a mammoth, and he's not even slightly anesthetized. The problem with good episodes is it's really easy to get sucked into them and just stop commenting anything about it because it's too interesting. You get focused on what's happening on screen. I didn't even point out the fact that Garrick has a triangular pillow.
Yeah, we were so chatty in the core episode. The albino.
I still don't know what that weird square light is that's behind Bashir. Is that supposed to be his replicator? It's like a grill that he removes. Does it flip up? Does it slide up? What's the red light? Oh yeah, absolutely everybody has triangular pillows. Ah, the first story. Story 1 of 3.
So this is the same set as Cisco's ready room?
The ready room?
It's the captain's
Cisco-
office? Sorry, not ready room, but his main office?
I don't think so. I need to get a wider shot of it. They do have a separate quarters set.
Yeah. Probably not. It's just I was confusing the window. Plus they have the observation lounge, like where they sign all the peace treaties and stuff in.
Yeah.
So I guess they're just bringing in the windows.
Yeah, those windows I'm just thinking of. That reminds me of that bit in Voyager when Neelix and Seven are talking. He's like, maybe you could get some curtains for your windows, have some privacy. And Seven's replies naturally, we're in space. It's like, well, you never know. You don't need privacy out the window. You're in space. Who's going to be outside? Which in turn reminds me of a bit from Firefly. When that lady whose name I don't remember, she stows away on the ship. It's like, how did she get on board? She hitched. It's like, I don't remember pulling over. It's like, how are people getting to these places in space? I mean, I don't know their name or the actress's name, but the lady who goes and like tries to marry Mal and is trying to just actually steal the ship. And then later pulls a heist. That lady. Does Bashir know literally anything about Garrick? All he knows is he's a Cardassian and he suspects he might have been a spy. Or is a spy. But he doesn't really know anything. And that Garrick has bad taste in literature. Here's the first story. The Cardassian mechanized infantry. Now, does that imply there can be two things? Either the Cardassians were using tanks, which, standard. But I choose to believe by mechanized infantry, he means all the infantry have like exoskeleton suits. They're like Cardassian Iron Men. I mean, hey, it was effective. If you don't know who the prisoner is, just kill everyone. You'll get them eventually. I mean, you probably should be a little concerned with what he did in the past. Yeah, they never really specify what actually got him exiled. Little bits and pieces of the stories are implied to be true, even if, like, metaphorically. We never get the exact story. It's like an Elder Scrolls game. You're a prisoner, but you're never told what for. You just have to make it up for yourself. Well, it's now he set up a notification system on his computer. And he's probably not going to wake up. Dude's probably in a coma. Yeah, although it doesn't seem terribly urgent. These people have been dead for years. And what more can happen to them? Oh, Bashir's doing his best here. Now, is Garrick getting special treatment because he's Bashir's friend? Sorry, Siddiq's friend. Or would Siddiq do this for anyone? It seems like he's taking extra good care of Garrick. Anyone else, I would assume he would like anesthetize them and transport them to the infirmary. Those are some weird lights on the ceiling. Why does he have multicolored lights? He has red lights and white lights. Just Cardassian aesthetics, I suppose. Oh yeah, that episode where he tries to cure the Jemadar, he stays there no matter what. That episode, The Quickening, he stays behind on the planet to try and help cure them. Honestly, yeah, those might be heat lamps. Cardassian station. Cardassians love the heat. It's Cardassian quarters. Could be some heat lamps going on.
He just needs a sauna.
Unfortunately, he won't get a sauna until Zial invites him to one. He can't think of it himself. How dare you hurt the flowers? What did the flowers ever do to you, Garrick? Apparently, you know, Garrick might have put the flowers in, or maybe someone sent him some get well soon flowers. Assuming someone sent him get well soon flowers, who on the station do we think it was? Not Bashir. Who else on the station? You know who I think it was? I think it was Morn. Morn's a sweetheart. He'd do that.
So that's the whole backstory here, right?
Well, I mean, it's a lie. He's giving a backstory.
Once a master spy, always a master spy.
Andrew Robinson's pretty good. That's some good acting, Andy. And we don't know exactly what the real backstory is, but my assumption here is because Garrick says it's sort of parts of these are metaphorically true. My assumption is Garrick did something in his line of duty. Garrick did something for work. And Elim in these stories is sort of the one that gets him exiled because Elim is representative of like the moral side of him, the good side of him. So Garrick felt, my assumption is Garrick felt like guilt or he did something for moral reasons, but that went against his work. He disobeyed orders in some way, and that's what got him exiled. But basically, that in these stories, Garrick is the bad guy, Elam is the good guy, and that's representative of internal struggles.
Oh, Ryan,
Hyperzine.
the sad part is I actually liked watching this mediocre show with you and listening to your smug, sanctimonious comments.
Oh. Well, that's too bad. Don't worry, I'll stop making smug, sanctimonious comments.
No, it's like, how you gonna tell that to your friend who you enjoy so well company with? Obviously, he's having brain issues, but man, like I love Bashir's acting. You know, Sadiq Al Fadel's acting too, because the smirk off his face just left to hear your like best friend on the station just tell you that, yeah, it's hell for me to be here.
Siddiq
And
understands, though.
I'm
He
only friends with you
understands.
because I got no one else. Love your show.
I only enjoy spending time with you because I'm literally high all the time. That's the only way I can tolerate you.
And you did see the character switch, because before when they were talking about the book, he was being his old flirty Garrick, and then as soon as like his head starts hurting, like
Not so
no,
friendly
I
anymore.
don't want to go. I want to go. Just give me some privacy. Leave me alone. It's like when you say go away at the end of a podcast, just turn off the friendly Ryan.
Just tell everyone to go away. Oh, Garrick's being friendly here. Kind old Garrick with his friendly smiles. And the implant's not even on. He looks so harmless with his facial expressions here. But, yeah, dude looked like he was gonna murder someone 5 minutes ago. They did grow up together, yes. I would say it's fair to say that they were closer than brothers. Elim and Garrick. That's probably not true. That's probably true. I believe that. Hmm. I mean, Enobrantane says that Garrick betrayed him. So this can't be true because now he's saying that Enobrantane was retired. That's the part that I think is the most true. Elim destroyed me. Something about his own inner conflict caused him to take an action that the other Cardassians hated. And given what we know about the Cardassians, that they're evil space Nazis, my assumption would be he did something that was actually moral, and people were just disgusted with that. Even himself. It's all pure speculation, though. Yeah, very convenient of Garrick to say he retired specifically to the Arowath colony in Albrantane. The guy who knows everything about me, the guy who knows about implants, the Arowath colony. Doctor, have you heard of the Arowath colony? That's where Albrantane lives. You know, the guy who knows about the implant in Albrantane at the Arowath colony. Very convenient. And Bashir just gets a runabout straight off. That means Cisco must have authorized it, so Cisco wants to save Garrick too. That looks Bajoran.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing actually.
Basically, all of this looks Bajoran, really. Except the red lighting. Bajorans are more of a yellowish folk. And Albrantane's another overweight Cardassian, but he's retired.
Got a lot of blood on his hands.
What do you mean? He doesn't have blood on his hands, he's so friendly. Supatoy Bashir. Bashir didn't even tell anyone that he was going to be crossing the border. He just flew up to them. That seems like a bad idea, Doctor. Supertoy. Yeah. Julian Supertoy Bashir, also known as Sadiq al Tahil al Fadl Abdurrahman Muhammad Ahmad Abdul Karim al Mahdi. They've got to be pretty close to Cardassian space, though. Because Garrick, specifically to this colony, because Garrick is basically going to die in just a few days. If Garrick is going to die in a few days, warp drive is actually pretty slow. It takes a long time to get anywhere. Several days, in fact. So Aeroth colony has to be really close to the station.
Yeah, you're right. It's a huge galaxy.
We know they are at least on the border of Cardassian space because it's a Cardassian station that's defined as being on the border of Cardassian space. They're just really lucky the Aerowath colony is also close to the border.
Wow, I wonder whose advice that is.
Which advice? Let him die?
Let him die. Yeah. I don't think anyone.
Now, spoilers for the next 5 seconds. In Auburn Tane, we know is Garrick's father. So in Auburn Tane, maybe actually has Garrick's best interest at heart and actually wants to let him die because he thinks that would be best for Garrick. Maybe.
I forgot about that. Totally forgot about that.
Yeah, see, Auburn Tane's a sweetheart. Never mind all those people he murdered and governments he destabilized and all that stuff he did. Cardassians he had executed and disappeared. And his justification of wanting to torture Garrick. No, he's a sweetheart. He's a nice guy. Don't worry about it. And it's from the heart. Could you be more specific, Siddiq? He didn't lock Garrick in a box. It was just, a somewhat small closet. Don't worry about it. It wasn't child abuse. Because he would let Garrick out when Garrick had learned his lesson. That makes it okay. For sure. I wonder what. Oh, that guy looks like a Jem'Hadar. Oh, that's weird. It's not a Jem'Hadar. It sure looks like him. Oh, here's the Replomat.
Definitely. Yeah. Thanks. Hey.
Yeah, the rules about needing to say energize or not are completely inconsistent. Yeah, it's a valid question. How is the spice pudding? Oh, really? What did Odo say? Wow, he believes that thing you literally admitted to 2 days ago? That's weird. Why would he ever think that? And that is what we call foreshadowing. Who do you think wins the war between the Klingons and the Cardassian Empire? Surprisingly, it's actually not the Cardassians. Yeah, surprisingly. I mean, the Cardassians do well for a while, but it doesn't quite work out in the end for them.
Probably the best line Garrick has in the whole series.
Especially the lies. Alright, so that's the last episode for today. Though, let me, I made a GIF a while ago about using that scene about the Star Wars prequels. So just for fun, let's play that because the prequels are great. They have some rough moments. It's true.
Thanks.
Oh yes, a graphic interchange format because we totally pronounced acronyms based on the words they tell me. Tell me, Mr. Signal, how do you pronounce scuba? Do you pronounce it scaba? If you're following that particular line of reasoning, because it should be pronounced scaba. Something tells me you do not pronounce it that way. It's GIF. GIF is the way it is pronounced. All right, that's it for today. You people,
Thank
you
you for
people
having us, Ryan.
can argue amongst yourselves whether it's GIF or GIF, but
More important is whether that was actually a triangle ship.
yeah. You're not banned if you
But
pronounce it GIF, but you are banned if you make the argument that it should be pronounced GIF based on what words it stands for. Because that's nonsense, because that's not how acronyms ever work.
yeah, definitely not. Next week we have Crossover, The Collaborator, and Tribunal, which I think are O'Brien must suffer episodes.
Is the collaborator the one where Kaiopaka is revealed as a collaborator? I think that's that one.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for having us, Ryan. And thank you, chat. You guys are the best. Have a great weekend. Whatever's left.
And I have a special video that'll be going up on Halloween. Probably. I still have some technical details to work out, but I think I'll be able to get it out for Halloween. No spoilers, though. That's all I got to say about that. Alright, everyone, go away. Stream's over.